Good afternoon. My name is Sam Sherpa, and I am a University of Pittsburgh student, and I'm a current freshman right now. I will be documenting the journey that I've gone through for the AWS Cloud Practitioner, and I would like to explain the different domains that the AWS Cloud Practitioner has for the exam. Now, this is going to be a comprehensive guide on different knowledges for the Cloud Practitioner exam, and essentially is going to describe how you can actually utilize this video or the videos that are going to happen to help you pass the exam. Now, this PDF that I got is actually available on the main page of the AWS Cloud Practitioner. If you go down to the bottom, you can click right here and take you to the same PDF document. Now, going over the introduction, it is a AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner exam that is intended for individuals who can effectively demonstrate an overall knowledge of the AWS Cloud independent of a specific job role. This is going to explain the general knowledge of the AWS Cloud. Now, it's not going to go over the in-depth questions that might be expected in future certifications. However, it is going to give you a broad knowledge of what you have to know. The recommended AWS knowledge is the AWS Cloud concepts, security and compliance within the AWS Cloud, understanding of the core AWS services, and finally, understanding of the economics of the cloud concepts. Now, it does say that the target candidate description should have at least 6 months or equivalent of active engagement with the AWS Cloud. However, I don't necessarily believe that that's required. You can definitely get the certification for a lot less time spent in the cloud. You can, what I did was I basically spent like around a month of studying, getting resources to practice with AWS, and I would spend around 8 to 10 hours, even 16 hours some days, to pull all-nighters to essentially get knowledge quickly and effectively. And a tip that I would give you right now is to essentially go to a place where you find go to a place where you can study, manage yourself, write down the notes, and as you write down the notes, you can almost become a teacher or a professor that is going to explain the topic yourself. Speak out loud to yourself and explain how what the topic you learned actually relates to the exam. Explain everything that you have learned so far and go step by step. What is considered out of the scope for the target candidate? That's pretty simple. A lot of these bullet points are designed for people that have taken the Cloud Practitioner and actually implemented into web applications or the actual AWS console, such as coding, designing cloud architecture, troubleshooting, implementation, migration, etc. These are things that you do not need for the exam and are irrelevant because that is what's going to happen after you take the practitioner exam. Going down, there are exam response types. There's going to be multiple choice and multiple response. Now, multiple response is actually a bit misleading because when I first saw it, it was a little bit confusing because I thought I had to type in the actual responses, but it's more so that it has 2 or more correct responses out of the 5 or more response options. Now, what that means is you have to pick at least 2 answers that the question gives you. So there's going to be like 5 options, and you have to pick 2 of them. Multiple choice, that's 4 questions, and you pick one of them that's correct. There's going to be 65 questions in total. It's going to be 90 minutes. I believe they give you an extra 10 minutes, so technically it's like 100 minutes. But they also give you an extra 30 minutes if you are an ESL student. It's going to cost $100. However, you can get the pricing down to $50 with the discount code. I'm not exactly sure how you get to that stage. But I believe it's something to do with AWS Skill Builder, where you would have to take courses, and eventually they'll offer you a discount. Now, as for the exam, uh, there's going to be 15 unscored questions and 50 scored questions. And essentially, they're going to combine together for a total of 65 questions, and you will get a score between 100 to 1,000. The minimum passing score is 700, and it will show how you performed on the exam as a whole, whether you have or not passed. Now, the content outline is pretty simple. There's going to be 4 test domains and objectives for the exams. We're going to just simply go over the domains today, which is going to be the cloud concepts, security and compliance, technology, billing and pricing, for a total of 100% for the exam. Now remember, this is just going to be something that requires knowledge, not necessarily implementing that knowledge, but just studying for the exam. And this is just the introduction, but we will continue to go over the domain number 1, domain number 2, domain number 3, and 4. Each of those will contain different parts because a lot of these have quite a lot of information that will take up a hefty amount of time. And these are things that we will have to break into parts. But eventually we will get over everything. And I also recommend to get other resources besides the one that you're currently watching. And it's also recommended that you take practice exams before taking the actual exam. The reason why is because you'll get a feel of how the questions are, and the questions that you actually take are quite rigorous, and it's going to help you because the actual exam is hopefully not as rigorous as the practice exams that you will be taking, and it'll give you more confidence on taking the actual exam. Now, this is all for today. Thank you guys very much for watching.